So listen, you need to be real about the things that you want and desire in life. A lot of times we downplay the things that we really want and desire in life because we're simply afraid that we won't receive it. We're simply afraid that we may not be worthy. And we don't want to be disappointed. We don't want for the world to prove our insecurities and our thoughts correct. And so we play it small and we act like we don't want certain things. You act like you just want a regular life when in reality you want to be a multimillionaire. You act like you want just a regular man that comes home, at 5 o'clock, but in reality you want a really purposeful, attractive, charismatic, loving man that has money. Like you act like you're okay with your little gut and it's fine, but in reality you want your stomach to be very flat. Listen, God cannot bless who you pretend to be. God cannot bless who you pretend to be. So when you act like you don't want a certain amount of money, when you act like you don't want a certain kind of man, when you act like you don't want a certain kind of body type or whatever, you are delaying your desired reality. You are delaying the things that you actually can receive in life because you are acting like you don't want them instead of just being bold, instead of just being brazen and saying like, yes, I want that. Yes, I can have that. And even if you don't believe that you can have it, at least start by admitting that you want it. Because when you can admit that you want it, then you will possibly be inspired to start taking actions in order to get the thing. But the reality is that we want certain things and we haven't even really taken real action to get those things. Which is why we act like we don't want it, because in reality, a lot of times we just don't want to take certain actions. Like, yeah, you want to be a multimillionaire, but there's a certain amount of work that you possibly have to put in. There's some work that you got to put in on your mindset, on your frequency, and you just may not be able to be consistent enough to do that. You know that. You want a certain kind of body, but you just can't stop eating. You just can't go to the gym. You want certain kind of skin, but you can't be consistent with your skincare routine, or you can't get your mindset right in order to start perceiving your actual beauty that you already have. You are possibly just being inconsistent, or you are actually denying the actions that you possibly know that you need to take. So I say that to say is that when you first can admit that you want something, you will possibly and more than likely be inclined to take actions that get you there. Whether that's you working on your mindset, whether that's you reprogramming your mind, your subconscious mind, whether that's you putting in the physical work, whatever the case may be, if you want it, you're gonna do things to get it, right? And a lot of times we just don't want to do the things that we need to do to get it, and it doesn't have to be hard. And I think a lot of times we think that the things we want and desire in life, it has to be hard in order to obtain, and it doesn't. And so it's all an illusion. And so you are being somebody or acting like somebody totally different, and I guess maybe expecting that God is going to surprise you with your desire even though you are acting like you don't want it, instead of just being bold and confident and exercising your throat chakra to just admit that you want a certain thing. So be real about what you desire. If you are in a relationship and this person is not what you truly desire, they have certain characteristics, or they are a certain kind of person that you don't truly desire, be real about that. That doesn't mean you have to make a decision ASAP, but be real about what you desire, because that energy, it gets stuck within your body and it weighs you down. Don't be weighed down keeping energy stagnant within your body, denying who you actually are, because that's what you're doing at the end of the day. You're just denying who you actually are. And God can't bless who you pretend to be. And so be honest, be real. And it could take you some time. Like, you may say, this is what I want, but you may be really in a mindset that you don't believe that you could get it. Be okay in that energy. Be okay with being uncomfortable, because that is uncomfortable to know that you want something and you feel like you cannot get it. But that's only the first step, is to accept that you want it. And so I'm not saying that you should say, okay, I want this, and then start trying immediately to get it. Some people can't do that. Some people have to sit and soak and say, I can't get it. I want this, but I can't get it. At least you are being authentic. At least you're being real with yourself. That's something that God could work with, you know? At least you're being real and authentic. And when you are in a state to where you feel that way, you can practice transmuting that energy into neutrality, and then it'll make it easier for you to start thinking positively about the possibilities that could come your way. But just sit in it. Just look at it and sit in it until it feels neutral, until the energy feels neutral, until the thoughts feel neutral. And then you can transmute and transform into positivity. But the first step is being honest with yourself and who you are, because your desires are who you are. It's a part of who you are, and you do not need to suppress any parts of you. If you desire something, be honest about it. Remember, God can't bless who you pretend to be. And that is all I have for you today. Always remember that God has placed seeds of greatness inside of you, and that anointing, all things are possible. Peace.